Today's podcast should ruffle a couple of feathers because I made a statement that copy equals manipulation and connection equals conversion. So today I unpack it and I tell you exactly how to apply it into your business to make sure that you're focused on the actual thing that's going to move the needle in your business that will lead to more conversions, more leads, more customers, more revenue, and an easier life in general. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Mind of George Show. And today we're going to talk about a tweetable. One specific post I did where I wrote copy equals manipulation and connection equals conversion. And so this is where I have to be honest. I have to be transparent. Is that a little bit of a bro marketer statement? Yes. Is that a statement designed to create intrigue, to invoke emotions? Yes, it is. And it is something that I agree with wholeheartedly, but most likely not in the sense that you think. And boy, when I posted this one, and every time I post this thought, whether it's on stories, whether it's in an email, whether it's on a piece of content, people go nuts. And all I say is that copy equals manipulation and connection equals conversion. And typically what I mean by that is when this topic around copywriting, right? I get hit with this all the time. Well, who's going to write my copy? Who's going to write my copy? Who's going to write my copy? Now, is copy effective? Yes, because what is copy? Copy is a series of words that creates an invitation to allow somebody to see themselves in the pain point, in the challenge, in the problem, or see themselves in the solution and borrow some confidence and feel safe enough to lean in and make a decision based on the copy that we give them. And the reason I think it's important to understand what copy is because a lot of the times people come to me and they're like, my offer doesn't work. My audience isn't converting. It's my copy. It's my copy. It's my copy. But typically, and I'd say 9 out of 10 times, it's never the copy. It's what's underneath it, right? And so when we think about this is that there's nothing wrong with copywriters. I love copywriters. I have some incredible copywriters on my team. But when we understand what copywriting is, it's important to understand what it actually is and not give it more power than it deems necessary, because there's one camp of people that live in, it's the copy, I need the copy, I need the words. But then on the other side of the coin, I have just as equally, if not more businesses, myself included, to where I never sit down and intentionally write copy or try to change somebody's feelings. I speak honestly about what's there, and then they convert and they come in, but on paper it doesn't have the quote unquote structure that everybody would think is so powerful. And so the reason I want to bring this awareness, the reason I want to bring this thought process, the reason I want to bring this paradigm here is so that you can have a healthy relationship with the tool of copywriting, but understanding that if all we're focusing on is writing quote unquote copy, and it's to get people to commit to things or to buy things or to change things, but it's lacking the depth, it's lacking the foundation, it's lacking the base requirements of a relationship that would allow a customer to convert or to come in, then we're just setting ourselves up to fail from the get-go. And so I want you to feel empowered to connect with your audience as opposed to copying somebody else's formula, because where this leads itself into entrepreneurship, and I see this all the time. Well, tell me what funnel to use. Tell me what templates to use. What copy and paste prompts do I use? What subject line do I use? What headline do I use? What blank and blank? And there's this entire part of our industry that is disgusting, in my opinion, quite frankly, with what it is and how it's sold. And I'm not upset about the people selling it, and I'm not upset about the people consuming it. I'm just challenging both of them because there's complacency and complicitness. And to think that I can go pick up a book off the shelf and it says, here's how to win your wife over and keep her forever, and thinking that I can take what's in that book and follow it to a T and it will work on my wife, is a flawed thought in the get-go. Now, there might be principles in that book. There might be foundational principles. There might be communication. There might be tips and tricks and things like that that will help me be a better husband. But it's going to be when I take those things and I apply my DNA or my belief system or my personality or my view of the world, that's what makes them effective. And so this is important to understand, because there's nothing wrong with prompts. There's nothing wrong with using ChatGPT. There's nothing wrong with using the foundational frameworks. There's nothing wrong with being like, oh, well, they used a webinar funnel, I'll try that. Or they use these copy and paste templates, so I'll take those and I'll add my personality. But to think that at the very core that when we're having challenges, when we're having issues in the business, when we're having conversion issues or retention issues or communication issues, that the tool itself is the thing that's going to make it different. And that is just not the case. And so my job is to help you feel empowered to connect with your audience in a real way that helps move them forward rather than copying somebody else's formula. And I'll say this again, but I think this is a very, very important understanding for most people. It's you could copy my handbook on how to date my wife, but it won't work for you. And it's the same thing for your business. Like if you come into my business and you're like, all right, George, share me your model, and I share you the model, there's a chance that for about 1,000 of you, my model would not work. And for about 1 out of 1,000, my model would work. And it doesn't mean that my model is broken or that it's the best or that it's the most effective. All that means is that my model works for me. And by working for me, all that means is that it's aligned with what I want, what I believe to be true, the values that I bring to the company, how I want my team to see our customers. And there are parts and pieces that you can take, but ultimately you have to build your home. And this is your business. And this isn't about copying formulas or copying frameworks or copying methods. And even with my customer journey framework, there's still customization that needs to happen to fit your product, to fit your business, to fit your client, and to fit your voice. It is always plug and play. And this is a huge, huge part of it. You can plug and play the science, but you have to add the art. You can plug and play the journey, but you have to add the relationship. You can plug and play the structure, but you have to add the depth. And it's a very important thing to understand. And I feel like a broken record because I've said that like 7 times on today's podcast alone, but it is really one of the secrets. And so how do you go about doing this? And so I think this is a perfect reminder for the entire series of podcasts that I talked about in January, and I'm going to be a reminder here. So how do you really get into making sure that you're not focusing on just copy or just the tool or just the frameworks, and that you're actually giving yourself and your customers a chance of success? Well, given the fact that you're listening to this and we're almost halfway through Q1, you're probably in like one of two camps. Camp number one is it's brand new year, things are working really well, or camp number two is it's a brand new year and things are crumbling. And if there's one guarantee in life, it's that you spending time simply connecting with other humans will get you on the path of conversations. You need humans to convert. You need relationships with those humans to convert. You need to connect with them. And then when you're walking a relationship with them, patience is key. And so this is where this model of mine, the 4 paths to the peer that I talk about so frequently comes in. Because what I understand about customer journey, what I understand about conversion, what I understand about escalation or self-realization or whatever our customers are doing is that it is not a linear path. It is not a go from A to B to C to D to E. It's not a go from B to C to D. It's go from A to Z to Y to W to B to C to Echo to Foxtrot to Golf to 1-7 $D, and D is the finish line. And the first thing is understanding what journeys people take and what they're looking for inside of your business to help give them a result. And so with the 4 paths to the peer, and I've taught this on numerous podcasts, so here's a quick summary, is that when somebody comes into your ecosystem, there's only one of 4 things they can do. They can come in and leave, they can come in and learn more, they can come in and opt in, or they can come in and buy. And in your bucket, in your world, if you're helping entrepreneurs with email marketing and all you talk about is email marketing, well, what that simply means is that in that lens of email marketing, you need to have a bucket. So if people come into your ecosystem and they're interested in learning more, but they don't want to opt in, that you have a piece of content or some pieces of content around your zone of genius that can help them, that can move them one step closer to their goal. And ultimately, if they want to take it further, there's a place for them to opt in or buy. No different than if you're talking about email marketing, that would be one path to the peer. And then you have a lead magnet about writing your first customer journey in 7 days or outlining your first 5 emails in 5 days. And you exchange your content and the structure of that content in exchange for their email address. So if they come in and they want to learn how to write emails or learn how to write copy, then they can consume that content for free if that's where they are, or if they want some help and accountability, they can opt in for it, which would then lead us to understand that you have an offer. And that offer might be a 4-week cohort where you're mapping out people's customer journeys and emails for them. And so in that bucket, in that lens, from a perspective of your business, you have every hole in the bucket plugged to attract and build a relationship with your ideal customer. And that's where patience comes in. Because what I have in my world is I have those paths to the peer. I know if you're interested in customer journey and you come in, you can either listen to our podcast, you can opt in for our free customer journey training, or you can come to our event around customer journey. If you want mindset, you can opt in for our Lightkeeper lessons. You can come to our event, or you can hire me for coaching. If you want to work on relationships, you can opt in for one of our lead magnets, some of our content, our podcast. You can come to our event, or you can hire me for one-on-one coaching. And it's important for me to have those, because when I have those, I have these entry points. I have these placeholders. I have these seats at the table, for lack of better terms, so that when you recognize that I can help you, or that I have a solution to your problem and it fits, that I'm not telling you when to take the next step. I'm not saying now click here and buy here. It's that when you are ready, you know there's a next step and that path is there. And so what that allows me to do is, instead of trying to get you to buy a link every day or buy an email course every day, it allows me to add value. We put content into the world. We teach you for free, and then we connect with you. And if in that connection you're like, God, I would really love to learn more about customer journey, we're like, great, we got you. Here is our customer journey lead magnet, which leads to our event. Or, hey, here's our lead magnet, and I know you might be open and interested in coming to the event in Austin, and tickets are selling fast. So here's the customer journey training. And at the end of it, I tell you about the event, but I'm telling you early just because it's coming up in 6 weeks. And so what it allows us to do is, knowing that when you walk into my store, like if I'm a brick and mortar business and you walk into that door and you tell me you're interested in mindset, customer journey, or relationships, it's not my job to put you on a path. It's not my job to force you to go anywhere. It's not my job to try to put a square peg into a round hole. It's my job to build a connection and a relationship and listen. And then in listening, if you identify something that I have that I can help you with, then it's throwing out an invitation for you to say, hey, do you want to try this? Do you want to try this? Do you want to try this? And that allows me to change the wrapping paper. And that allows me to do the most important thing and the most critical function of my business, which is connecting with people, which is building relationships with these people that are either my customers or my potential customers, because that source, that information, and that relationship is really where all the information that we need to make this successful comes from. But what ends up happening is that in this lens of copy and pasting, or copy equals manipulation and connection equals conversion, is that we grab a template, we grab a framework, we grab this lead magnet, we do a webinar because they said to, we did a VSL because they said to, and then we follow it to a fucking T, and then we invest all of our time and energy into it, and then it doesn't work, and now we make it bad and wrong. We collect it as evidence. We go back to the drawing board, and we further disconnect from our customers while trying to figure out how to solve something that we can't solve, because we're simply not in a relationship with them, because we're trying to use other people's frameworks and other people's thoughts and other people's templates to build a relationship with the people that we love. And we can't do that. And so this is a reminder to go back and listen to the January episodes, especially around the 4 paths to the peer. And this doesn't matter if you have all of them, if you have none of them. It matters that you have the intentionality to have some of them. And so if you coach women on having a positive mindset and you have one core offer, then all you really need is one piece of value or one piece of content put into a lead magnet that helps move them closer to that goal, whether it's mapping out their vision of their life, or eliminating challenges that they're having in their life, or teaching them how to embody their power, or instituting a self-care practice. Knowing that you have an offer that exists already, and you've sold that offer and people have bought that offer, then you keep investing in that with how it's working, and then start adding things before that would help somebody become a better customer or a better client. And so if I add that lead magnet of, oh yeah, I'm going to help you map out your vivid vision to stand in your power as an empty nester that you've never tasted before in 7 days in 5 minutes or less, that's a dope lead magnet. And I can take them through 7 days, help get your clear, get your vision. What do you want? What fills your bucket? Boom, 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 boom. And then that feeds them into my offer. And so the undertow of this is that what I understand about business, what I understand about entrepreneurship, is that I don't want a customer for a day. I want a customer for a lifetime. And for me, a customer is not somebody who pays me money. It's somebody who utilizes their voice and their platform to help other people pay attention to me in any lens, shape, or form. If they're commenting, if they're liking, if they're engaging, if they're messaging. My job is not to determine or tell you where in our relationship you should be. My job is to respect wherever our relationship respect wherever you are in our relationship, and then add value and help you achieve your goal. And so when we start to really understand these things, we start to recognize that a lot of the times we'll say we want more leads, we want more connections, we want more sales, we want more conversions. But instead of actually building the relationships that would allow us to have those and get the objections and handle them and have the right information and the right marketing, we don't. We say, oh, we have a problem. We need more leads. All right, let's use this funnel. Let's use this framework. Let's use this strategy, but never really changing anything and thinking that that Band-Aid is going to fix what's underneath it is not going to work. What this requires is that you understand at the core of your business, at the core function of your business, you are not in the business of selling products. You're in the business of creating connections with people, allowing them to recognize that there's something in their life or business that isn't working. And then in recognizing that, them being introduced to the fact that you have a potential solution. And only if they feel safe and only if they feel confident should they lean in and take that offer, helping escalate them up the path. And so when you have those 4 paths to the pier, you have that place where your top content's there, you have that place where your top lead magnet's there, you have that offer. Well, your job is not to change any of those. Those are your menu. Print those things out. That's what dinner looks like every night. Here's my best content. Here's my best lead magnet. And here's my best offer. And once you print your menu, you open your restaurant. You don't change it every night. You keep that restaurant as it is. But if nobody's coming in and sitting down in your restaurant, it's not because the food doesn't taste good. They've never had it before. It's not because the experience isn't great. They've never had it before. It's that they just simply don't have enough information, curiosity, intrigue, or desire to come eat at your restaurant yet. But that doesn't mean that if you change the menu, they're going to come in. You keep the menu as it is. And then you spend the rest of your time going out and connecting with people, proactively connecting with them, asking them what their favorite foods are, asking them what experience they want, and then letting them know that you have that and utilizing those connections to build those relationships. When I say connection equals conversion, that's what I mean. When people feel manipulated, when they feel tricked, when they feel agendized, when you know a sale is coming, when you know an offer is coming, when you know a bait and switch is happening, it never makes you feel good. And typically, it only feels that way because we can feel the lack of connection. And none of us like it, which means none of our customers like it either. And connection typically tends to be the one point, the one touch point when you create that connection that actually brings everything underneath it into alignment. The subconscious safety, the subconscious security, the confidence in themselves to commit to an offer all comes from you being able to create that connection. And that connection is what gives them the tilt to invest in, to lean forward, to take an action, to start the course, to start the lead magnet. But without that connection, it's only transactional. And so I want you to understand that there is no way to apply somebody else's business, somebody else's framework, somebody else's copy into your relationships and have it work. You can take the ideas, you can take the principles, but it ultimately has to be yours. And this has to be an expression of you. And so in the lens of how do you do this tactically, well, in your ecosystem, whatever that is, whatever at 30,000 foot view, whatever in your lighthouse you help people do, that's your world that you're building. And so in that world, what are your big ideas that you help people with? And do you have a place for them to consume those ideas and move forward closer to their goal? Where is your place to take those ideas and put them into some journey that helps hold people accountable to accomplishing them? That is a lead magnet. And then where do you take those same ideas and you invest a little bit on your own to help people achieve those faster? And that's your paid offer. And when you have those paths and they're aligned and they're consistent and congruent with what you do, what you offer, who you offer it to, and how you help them, then at that point, your only job is patience and intention. Patience allows customers to take the journey at their pace, leading to the best results. The intention is knowing that you're not going to change your menu. Your menu is sticking the same because it works and people have done it and they've gotten results. Those become there. They're stuck. They're not changing, which means what you're left with is all this space on where you're going to choose to intentionally spend your time to create connections. Because I think what's important to understand is that marketing is not a passive behavior. There is no set and forget it. There is no it's going to handle itself. Marketing is making sure that your home is in order, and then you can spend every other ounce of your day promoting that home, connecting with people, letting them know about that home, asking them about their home, where they want to live and what it looks like, so that we can create these connection points that allow people to come in and eventually convert in a manner that we want to monetize, which is sometimes revenue, it's sometimes attention, it's sometimes word of mouth, it's sometimes likes, it's sometimes comments, it's sometimes shares. But I know that in order to win, the more relationships I have and the more real ones I have are directly correlated to the amount of money, success, and results that I have. And so at the end of the day, if you want to do this the right way, regardless of the camp that you're in, of everything's been working great this year or everything's messy, you get to take this as an opportunity to recognize what truly matters. And I like to think about this just like brick and mortar business. So I envision that the internet was deleted and that my entire business and what I do is sitting here in person. And the only way to get people in my door is manual. How am I going to connect to them? Am I going to walk out on the street? Am I going to introduce myself? Am I going to give out samples? Am I going to have conversations? And when I answer that question, I find those answers and I say, great, well, I don't have to just do this in person. I can do this on Facebook. I can do this on Instagram. I can do this on TikTok. I can do this on YouTube. So now in that same lens, how am I going to utilize these tools to reach out and create connection, to reach out and create invitation, knowing that once I create that invitation or once I create that connection and somebody feels safe enough to lean in, that I have a path for them to follow. They can come into my content, they can come into my lead magnet, they can come into my offer, which means now I get to spend the rest of my time doing what it is that we say we want to do, which is helping people achieve blank. And the first step in doing that is creating connection and having the patience to allow somebody to take the path that's going to get them the best chance of success at their pace, not the pace that you dictate, the pace that you try to force them into, or the pace that we try to manipulate and get them to say yes to, that no longer leads to a positive result, that doesn't help you and it doesn't help them. And so this concept of copy equals manipulation and connection equals conversion simply comes down to going to the depth required for you to actually succeed. And connection is the depth that creates all the best results in our life, because human beings need to feel safe to make a commitment. That means making a commitment to follow you, to opt into you, to buy from you. And the one tilt to allow somebody to feel safe is connection. You can't win without it. You can't create results without it. Your customers can't get results without it. And you sure as shit can't scale your business without it. So your job is to build your lighthouse, to build your ecosystem, or build your world to where you have the paths for people to follow. And then you get to spend the rest of your time creating the connection points that will allow them to enter into that path. And that's what I got for you on today's episode. So this is a reminder, go back through January, listen to the 4 Paths to the Peer episode, take this here, take all of January, take things that I've talked about, take books, take some of my customer journey frameworks, take the mistakes, take the acknowledge step, to prepare step, and be like, great. From a science perspective, if I focus on this and I think about this, this is going to give me the best chance of results. But just because George does it this way doesn't mean I have to do it this way, because that's not me. But the idea is the same. So how do I take this principle? How do I take this thing that's important, and how do I add my personality, put it into practice so that I can go execute, create these connections, and take these customers where I want them to go? And so that's my game for you today. That's it. That's what I got. So I'm going to go sip my coffee. That is an iced coffee, but now it's becoming a warm coffee because I haven't drinking it fast enough. And keep your eyes peeled, keep your earballs peeled, because we got some dope episodes coming up in the queue. But I wanted to leave you with this today. So remember that you are the secret weapon. You. Your expression, your view, your personality, you and your teams. And so take this content, take these principles, take this idea, and then give yourself the space to apply them into your business that matches you, that's aligned with you. And that's the game that you're guaranteed to win. So I'm going to wrap the episode. It's been a fun one. I love you to pieces. Remember that relationships will always beat algorithms. You will either see me in the next episode or you will hear me in your earballs. Oh, and for all of you people on social media, which there are a few of you, I am sitting here in shorts with my legs crossed, and I'm sorry if that is distracting to you. I know I have beautiful legs. I have beautiful calves. I have beautiful quads. and I've been getting troll comments on Facebook, and I am dying laughing because people are commenting that my legs are detracting from the message. Maybe I should make it more about the content and not what I look like on camera. And I am dying laughing. So for all my haters, I appreciate you. I love you. And you're going to have to look at these ghostly white legs because all I wear is shorts. And so if you love them, thank you. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for supporting like the calves of greatness down here. And for my haters, keep it up, man. I love you. You'll turn around. I'll be here to support you. But other than that, have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you soon. Let's cue the outro.